In determining the admissibility of the special motion, I'm required to examine its form, threshold, framing of the grounds, and attachment of the necessary evidence. Standing Order 64.1 provides for the criteria for determining whether the proposed motion meets the requirements of the Constitution and the standing orders as to form and the threshold. On form, it should, A, be in writing, B, state the grounds and particulars in terms of Articles 151B of the Constitution upon which the proposed motion is made, and C, be signed by the member, and D, be signed in support by at least 1/3 of all the members of the Assembly. Having examined the notice of the special motion by the member for Kibwezi West, I find that the special motion meets the requirements relating to form and threshold set out in the Articles 145.1 and 151B of the Constitution and Standing Order 64.1. I have also satisfied myself that the number of members who have appended their signatures in support of the special motion exceed the minimum threshold of 117 members in this House. Honorable members, with regard to admissibility of the grounds set out in the special motion, I am guided by Standing Order 64.1A, which provides that the grounds specified in a special motion shall be admissible if A, framed clearly to particularize and disclose a gross violation of the Constitution or other written law, where gross violation of the Constitution or other written law is indicated as a ground for the intended removal. B, stating with precision the provisions of the Constitution or other written law that are alleged to have been grossly violated, where gross violation of the Constitution or other written law is indicated as a ground for the intended removal. And C, accompanied by necessary evidence, including annexures or sworn testimonies in respect of the allegations. Honorable members, having examined the proposed special motion, I note that in keeping with the requirements of Article 151B of the Constitution and Standing Order 64.1A, the member has stated 11 grounds for removal from office by impeachment of His Excellency the Deputy President. In addition, I do note that the special motion as submitted to my office also contains the particulars upon which the member seeks to move the House to consider the special motion. Honorable members, with respect to evidence, the member has attached documents including annexures and a sworn affidavit to substantiate the grounds stated in the special motion. Consequently, honorable members, I find that the proposed special motion by the Honorable Ekomas Mwengi Mutuse MP meets the requirements of Articles 145.1 and 151B of the Constitution and Standing Order 64 and 65 with regard to form, threshold, and grounds necessary for a member to move a special motion for the proposed removal from office by impeachment of the Deputy President. Honorable members, having determined that the special motion is admissible, let me now focus on the next steps of giving notice of the special motion to the House. Standing Order 47.4A provides that with respect to a motion for removal of a person from office, a member shall give notice of motion in the House within 3 sitting days following approval by the Speaker. In the circumstances, therefore, the member for Kibwezi West ought to give notice of his special motion either today or tomorrow. Given the nature of the timelines applicable to this special motion, I will, at order number 6, that is notices of motion, accord an opportunity to the member for Kibwezi West to give the notice of the special motion. Thereafter, I'll give further guidance to the House on the next steps to take. The House is accordingly guided. I thank you. Honorable Gladys Boss, are you ready? We'll go back to order number 5 for the Deputy Speaker.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay the following paper on the table of the House today, Thursday, 26 September 2024. Report of the Kenyan delegation to the 64th session of the OACPS Parliamentary Assembly and the first session of Luanda, Angola from the 17th to the 21st of February 2024. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker.
Order. Order, honorable members. Order. Member for Budalangi. Order. Take your seats. Order. Member for Navajo, take your seats. Order, honorable members, order. Order number 6, Honorable Sholei.
Order number 6, notices of motion.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to give notice of the following motion, that this House notes the report of the Kenyan delegation to the 64th session of the OACPS Parliamentary Assembly and the first session of the OACPS EU Joint Parliamentary Assembly held in Luanda, Angola from the 17th to the 21st of February 2024, laid on the table of this House on Thursday, 26 September 2024. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
The Honorable Mutuse. Honorable Mutuse, I'll allow you to speak from the dispatch box, and he will be heard in silence.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity to move this motion from this table. Mr. Speaker, this is an historical moment, and therefore, with your permission and honorable members, Mr. Speaker, allow me to proceed to give notice of the following motion. Mr. Speaker, sir, honorable members, I beg to give notice of the following special motion as follows. Mr. Speaker, pursuant to the provisions of Article 150, Sub-Article 1B and Sub-Article 2 of the same, read together with Article 145 of the Constitution of Kenya that we passed in 2010, and as read together with our standing orders number 64 and 65 of the standing orders of the National Assembly, the Assembly of the Republic of Kenya. This Honorable House resolves to remove from office, by way of impeachment, His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua, EGH, the current Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya. Mr. Speaker, sir, and honorable members, this special motion was lodged with the Clerk of the National Assembly on the 27th September 2024 and contains 11 grounds for impeachment. Mr. Speaker, in compliance with the law, as stated earlier, the grounds are concise, precise, are particularized in the motion, and this is a motion, and are supported by cogent, convincing, persuasive, evidentiary material in the nature of documents, affidavits, and electronic evidence. Mr. Speaker, I will also be presenting live witnesses, viva voce evidence, who will testify to corroborate the evidence that we have adduced in support of the grounds of impeachment. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, in the interest of the time allocated, I am not able to go clause by clause, sentence by sentence, paragraph by paragraph, because as you notice, the grounds themselves constitute about 42 pages, and with the rest of the material, we have about nearly 100 pages. And therefore, Mr. Speaker, with your guidance, allow me to summarize the 11 grounds as follows. Generally, Mr. Speaker, as members will realize, the particulars of these grounds are that His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua has engaged himself in acts of omission and commission that constitute offenses under our Constitution, offenses under international law, and offenses under our own statutes. On ground one, Mr. Speaker, we will be demonstrating before this House that His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua has grossly violated Articles 10(2)(1)(a), 10(2)(b) and C, Articles 27(4), Article 73(1)(a) and 2(b), Article 75(1)(c), and Article 129, Subarticle 2 of the Constitution of Kenya, as well as Articles 147(1), as read with Article 131(2)(c) and D of the Constitution of Kenya. And when the time comes, Mr. Speaker, I will be laying detail, article by article, to show the violations. On ground number 2, Mr. Speaker and honorable members, at the opportune time, I will demonstrate to Kenyans that His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua has violated Article 147(1) of the Constitution and Article 152(1) of the Constitution of Kenya, the most progressive constitution in Africa. Mr. Speaker, on ground 3, I will be demonstrating before this House to Kenyans and to the international community that His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua has violated Article 6(2) of the Constitution, Article 10(2)(a) of the Constitution, Article 174 of the Constitution, Article 186(1) of the Constitution, Article 189(1) of the Constitution, as well as the 4th schedule of the Constitution of Kenya. Mr. Speaker, this is the Constitution of the Republic of Kenya. It is not a mere document. It speaks to the soul of this nation. Under ground 4, Mr. Speaker, I will demonstrate that His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua has violated Article 161 of the Constitution of Kenya. I will further demonstrate under ground 5 that His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua, the Deputy President, the current Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, has grossly violated Article 3(1) as read together with Article 148(5)(a) of the Constitution. Under ground 6, Mr. Speaker and honorable members, I will demonstrate that the Honorable Rigathi Gachagua has committed crimes under Section 13(1)(a) and 62 of the National Cohesion and Integration Act, the act that speaks to our nationhood, the act that speaks to our multi-ethnicity, the act that speaks to our society remaining together as a cohesive society. And I will demonstrate with videos, I will demonstrate with affidavits, I will demonstrate with documents that the man holding the office of the Deputy President has violated the same law that he swore to protect in his own oath of office. Under ground 7, Mr. Speaker, I will demonstrate before this House that His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua has committed crimes under Sections 45(1), Section 46, Section 47(a)(3), Section 48(1) of the Anti-Corruption and Economic Crimes Act. Anti-Corruption, Mr. Speaker, honorable members, Anti-Corruption and Economic Crimes Act, by using his office to unjustly enrich himself, by using his office to acquire within 2 months properties well beyond 55.2 billion. And Mr. Speaker, I will demonstrate before this House that during the presidential debate, if I may be listened to, Mr. Speaker, that during the presidential debate,
Order, honorable members.
His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua did declare that he was worth 800 million. We are aware that he's paid slightly over 1 billion, meaning that for the last 2 years, the much he could have accumulated justly is about 24 million. But I would demonstrate before Kenyans that he has properties to himself, the ones that I was able to get in my time of research, worth 5.2 billion Kenya shillings. This is what we call unexplained assets, and we must slay the dragon of corruption from the highest office. Mr. Speaker, under the same ground, I will also be demonstrating, this is ground number 7, that His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua has violated sections 2, 3, 4, and 7 of the Proceeds of Crime and Money Laundering Act. Mr. Speaker, you are aware that the Proceeds of Crime and Money Laundering Act is one of those laws pursuant to Section 2 of the Constitution of Kenya that we domesticated because of our international obligations about money laundering. And therefore, by proving the same, I will also be demonstrating before Kenyans that His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua has committed international crimes. Under ground 8, Mr. Speaker, I will demonstrate that the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya has committed crimes under Section 132 of the Penal Code and Section 29 of the Leadership and Integrity Act. And honorable members will realize that the Leadership and Integrity Act is the law that was enacted by this parliament, none other than this parliament, to give effect to Chapter 6 on leadership and integrity of the Constitution. Under ground 9, I will be able to show, and Mr. Speaker, when we get to this ground, the ground of gross misconduct, I will be able to speak to the House in a very clear manner as to what constitutes gross misconduct as interpreted by our own courts. And I will be able to show that the person of the Deputy President is a bully. The person of the Deputy President has been threatening public officials. The person of the Deputy President has carried himself in a manner that brings disrespect to the office that he holds, and therefore has grossly misconducted himself. Under ground 10, Mr. Speaker, I will also specifically demonstrate that the person of the Deputy President has committed the offense of gross misconduct in the manner of insubordination, insubordinating the presidency and the Kenyan state. The Kenyan state is our soul, and if you insubordinate the state, you are not worth being a state officer. Lastly, Mr. Speaker, under ground 11, with your permission, when the time comes, I will also demonstrate, honorable members, if we may be listened to, I will also demonstrate that specifically the Honorable Rigathi Gachagua has committed crimes of gross misconduct, as I had earlier alluded to, in terms of bullying and threatening public officers. Mr. Speaker, in compliance with the provisions of Articles 145(1) of the Constitution, as read together with the National Assembly Standing Order number 65, honorable members, if you may listen, this is important. A total, Mr. Speaker, a total of 291 members of this National Assembly have graciously appended their signatures in support of this motion. 291 members. Mr. Speaker, it will be remembered, Mr. Speaker, it will be remembered that at this stage of moving the motion, the requirement of the law is that the motion should be supported by 1/3, translating to about 117 members. However, Mr. Speaker, we have 291. I therefore wish to thank my colleague members of Parliament for supporting this motion to over 83%, way beyond the required threshold of two-thirds, which is 67%, that is required at the next stage of voting for this motion. So, Mr. Speaker, there are times when we used to say this is an open and shut case. Mr. Speaker, sir, as a requirement of our standing orders, please allow me to read the names of the members who have signed in support of this motion.
Order.
Mr. Speaker,
Go ahead.
Mr. Speaker, for purposes of completeness of the record, the standing orders require that the mover of the motion does read all the names of the members who are in support of the motion for openness. And I therefore read the name of the patriots, borrowing from Senior Peter Kaluma. Mr. Speaker, I began with myself. The Honorable Ekomas Mwengi Mutuse, yours truly. The Honorable Owen Baya. The Honorable Japheth Nyakundi. Matthias Robi. Kimani Ishungwa. Member for Kikuyu and Majority Leader. Abdul Rahim Daud. Patrick Munene Dwiga. Eric Wamombi, the member for Madera. George Kariuki. Kili Daniel Karido. Dorothy Mudhoni Ikiara. Mwangi Kiunjuri. Boro Ambore. Elizabeth Kairemia. Edwin Mugo Gishoke. Rindikiri Mugambi. Jane Kagiri. Anne Murada. John Paul Murigi. Gikaria David. John Kirago. Mary Mainge. Alice Nganga. Wambugo Wainaina. Mashua Waidhaka. Kuria Kimani. George Kitonga Murugara. Simon Nganga Kingara. John Kiaria Wainaina. Shadrach Mwiti. Honorable Joseph Wainaina, nominated. Betty Maina. Geoffrey Kiringa Waroko. Roko. Gigi Kagombe. Julius Taitumu. Duncan Maina Madenge. Kwenya Dhoko. John Juguna Wanjiko. John Kanyuithia Mutunga. Honorable Junet Mohamed, the leader of minority. Honorable Mohamed Abdikadir. Honorable Yakub Ado. Honorable Richard Ken Chonga. Honorable Ali Wario. Honorable Ruwaida Obo. Honorable Hamisi Chome Abdi. Abdikadir Mohamed. Zamzam Mohamed. Rashid Benzimba. Said Buya. Peter Shake. Peter Masara. Mishi Juma Mboko. Joyce Osogo Bensuda. Fatuma Masito. Mohamed Machele. Aduma Owor. Jerusha Momanyi. Honorable Dr. Professor Gogo Lilian. Millie Odhiambo, the one and only. Honorable Irene Mayaka, my sister. Honorable Dick Maungu. Honorable Joshua Oron. Honorable Walter Owino. Honorable Patrick Osero. Honorable Molfason Barongo. Mark Ogola Nyamita. Tom Ondege. Gisairo Ombane. Oku Kaunya. Rosa Mbuyu. Charles Were. Fatuma Mohamed. Paul Abuor. Badu Twalib. Dr. Charles Ochieng. Caleb Amisi Luyai. Elisha Odhiambo. Farah Maalim. Elijah Memusi Kanchori. Kakuta Maimai Hamisi. Aden Daud Mohamed. Honorable Honorable Wanjala. Honorable Peter Orero. Honorable Martin Peters Owino. Honorable George Peter Kaluma. Honorable TJ Kajuang. Chiforomondo Mwangale. Honorable Donya Doris. Stephen Mogaka. Felix Odiwor. Geoffrey Odanga. Honorable Tim Wanyonyi. Honorable Christine Ombaka. Honorable Hussein Weitan. Honorable George Aladwa. Joseph Oyula, John Bwire, Omar Mwinyi, Catherine Omanyo, Danson Mwashako of Wiper Party, Innocent Mugabe, Charles Nguna, Mwingi West of Wiper Party, Honorable Elsie Muhanda, Honorable J.L. Sunguli of Kilgoris, Honorable Udgun Siad, Honorable Dr. John Ariko, Honorable Tindi Mwale, Otiende Amolo Senior Counsel. Mr. Speaker, the House takes notice that Honorable Otiende Amolo is one of the makers of the Constitution that we are implementing. Honorable Christopher Aseka, Honorable Paul Ekwon Nabuin, Honorable Nicholas Gikor of Turkana East, Honorable Yusuf Mohammed, Honorable Abdgadir Hussein Mohammed, James Koyo, Sarah Paulata Korere, Honorable Umker Arun Mohammed, Honorable John Nikal.
James.
Yes, my sincere apologies. For the correctness of the record, this is Honorable Dr. Professor James Nikal, the member for Seme. Honorable Daniel Manduku, Honorable Mohamed Ado, Honorable Wario Guyo, Honorable Paul Katana, Maurice Kakai Bisau, Emmanuel Wangwe, Bernard Shinyali, my friend Nabi Nabwera, Patrick Makau Kingola of the Wiper Party Mavoko constituency, and Commissioner of the Public Parliamentary Service Commission, very able, voted by members of this House. I thank you in a special way, my senior brother. Honorable Shakil Shabil Hamed, Honorable Aden Kainan, Honorable Dr. Aden Kainan, Honorable Fatuma Jeho, Honorable Amina Munyazi Laura, Honorable Gertrude Mbeyo, Honorable Adipo Akwome. Mr. Speaker, if you allow me, I can have a sip of my water.
Go ahead.
Number 134. Number 134, Abdi Omar Shurie, the chairman of the Committee of this House on Public Debt. Honorable Tom Oluoch, the member for Dagoretti Beatrice Elachi. Honorable Samuel Arama, Honorable Guyo Jaldesa, Professor. Honorable Anton Kibagedi, my brother. Honorable Samuel Atandi, my brother. Honorable Ruth Busia. Honorable Ruth Odinga Busia, the women rep for Kisumu County. Honorable Eve Obara. Honorable Johnson Manya Naika of Mumias East. Kipyegon Joanna, Omboko Milemba, Marwa Maisori, Moses Kirima, Lydia Aiga Mizigi, Adan Aji Yusuf, Mumina Bonaya, Charles Gimose, Mohamed Tubi, Zahir Janda, Clemens Lawyer, Zuleka Hulbal Arun, Lekumontare Jackson, member for Samburu East. Anton Kenga Mpe, ukimwona Mpe. Bashir Abdullahi, Didmas Barasa, Malulu Injendi, Geoffrey Mulanya, Frederick Ikana. Mr. Speaker, for completeness of the record, there are names that I have cancelled and I have signed against the cancellation. Honorable Titus Amala, Joseph Dena, Honorable Kivai Kagesi, Honorable Vincent Musyoka aka Kawaya, member for Mwala, Honorable Fabian Muli, Honorable Caleb Mule, Honorable Joshua Mwalio, Honorable Dr. Rachel Nyamai Kaki, Honorable Nimrod Mbai aka KPLC, Honorable Dido Raso, Honorable Lekuton of Laisamis, Honorable Chief Whip Silvanos Osoro, Honorable Abdisarat K. Ali, Honorable Abdul Haro, Honorable Mary Emase, Irene Joki, Nebat Muriuki, George Gashagua, Stephen Karani, Gidhua wa Masukuru, Rahabu Mukami Washira, Joroge Wainaina, Elijah Njoroge Kururia, Epuyu Nanok Daniel, Mudhoni Marubu Monica, Kenneth Tungulu, Mudhama Stanley, Joseph Emanthe Namur, Faith Gitau, Cecilia Asieni Ngitit, Pamela Njoki Njeru, Rahab Robert Basil, the member for Yatta and Wiper Party. Protas Akuja, Kasim Sawa Tandaza, Pauline Lengimis, Honorable Dr. Robert Pukose, Honorable George Sunguia, Honorable Joash Nyamoko, Kitlai Olentutu, Lea Sankaire, Lemankon Aramat, Agnes Pareño, Gabriel Tongoyo, Rebecca Tongei, Catherine Wambilinya, John Makali of Kandui, John Chikati, Susan of Tharaka Nithi, the women rep for Tharaka Nithi County, Mburu Kahangara, Geoffrey Wandeto, Ronald Karauri, Jackson Koech, Jackson Kosgei of Baringo, Adams Kipsanai, Kagogo Bowen, Jematia Sergon, William Kamket, Catherine Ngalechei, Ruben Kiborek, Kimaiyo Gideon, Musa Sirma, Joseph Kipkarus, Joshua Kandie, Charles Kamuren, John Waluke, Richard Yegon, Richard Kilel, Brighton Yegon, Francis Sigei, Kipngetich Koech, Lynette Chepkoril Toto, Justice Kemei, Nelson Koech, Beatrice Kemei, Joseph Cherorot, Kibet Komugoi, Hilary Kosigei, Benjamin Langat, Mutai Alfred Kiprono, Liza Chelule, Joseph Tonui, Paul Chebor, Fred Kapondi, Lilian Sioi, Naomi Jilowako, Faisal Abdi Bader, Alpha Miruka of Bamachoke Chache, Deko Baro, Innocent Obiri, Ogola Gideon, Honorable Sabina Chege, the party leader of the Jubilee Party, Peter Lochakamping of Sigor, Samuel Chemulel, Rael Kasiwai, David Kosing, Titus Lote, Joseph Samal Womwa, Honorable The handwriting is sometimes difficult to write. The member for Samburu North.
Eli.
The Honorable
Letipila Eli.
Lelitila Lady of Samburu North. The Honorable Kareke Mbiuki. The Honorable Martin Pepela. Wanami Wamboka. David Ochieng. Ferdinand Kevin Wanyonyi. Gladys Boss Chepkosgei Sholei, the women rep for Sinigishu and my former teacher. Paul Kipchil Biego. Marianne Kitani. Samuel Kiprono Chepkonga. Janet Sitienei. Muge Chepkosgei Cynthia. Joses Kosgei Lelmengit. David Kiplagat. Julius Kipibiwot. Julius K. Ruto. Bernard Kitur. Phyllis Barto, Professor. Oscar K. Sudi. Engineer Oscar Sudi. Dan Wanyama. Honorable Dr. Adagala Beatrice. Amina Dika. Abdi Ali Abdi. Hussein Abdi Bare. Gonzi Rai. Ibrahim Abdi Sanei. Honorable Ker Kasim. Honorable Salah Farah. Karoli Omondi. Robert Gishimu. Michael Mushira. Jared Okello. Jared Okello is my last name, making a total of 291 members. Mr. Speaker.
Yes, wind up.
Honorable members, as we wind up, as I alluded earlier, I presented to the Clerk of the National Assembly, and this afternoon, I'm laying on the table of the House the following documents. Number one, the special motion dated 26th of September 2024 and received by the clerk on the 27th of September 2024, and I have it in my hands and I'll be laying it shortly. Number two, with this special motion, Mr. Speaker, I am also laying before the table of the House the list of 291 members of the National Assembly who signed in support of the motion. Mr. Speaker, number three, I will also be laying the bundle of evidence in support of the grounds in the motion. And number four, I will be laying the list of witnesses, all contained in this bundle. Mr. Speaker, Kenyans will be shocked. Indeed, Kenyans will be very shocked when we finally unravel and demonstrate the grounds and the supporting evidence. I therefore, through you, Mr. Speaker, humbly request the House Business Committee to allocate me ample time at the time of moving the motion so that Kenyans can appreciate in detail the injustices that have been committed against them by the person of the Deputy President. I thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I beg to give notice of the special motion and to lay the said documents on the table of the House. And if you allow, Mr. Speaker, as I conclude, please allow me to highlight the following.
Order.
Mr. Speaker, I am a Christian, and I often read the Bible. And the Holy Bible, in the book of Proverbs 29 verse 16, says as follows: when the wicked are in authority, sin flourishes. But the godly, and mark the godly in small g, will live to see their downfall. That is the Holy Book as contained in the book of Proverbs 29:16. Further, Mr. Speaker, in the book of Mark, chapter 9, verses 42 to 47, it says as follows, and I quote: If anyone causes one of these little things, honorable members, Kenyans, please listen carefully. If anyone causes any one of these little things, those who believe in me, to stumble, it would be better for them if a large millstone were hung around their neck and they were thrown into the sea. 43, if your hand causes you to stumble, cut it off. It is better for you to end a life maimed than with 2 hands to go into hell, where the fire never goes out. 45, and if your foot causes you to stumble, cut it off. It is better for you to end a life crippled than to have 2 feet and to be thrown into hell. And if your eye causes you to stumble, pluck it out. It is better for you to enter the kingdom of God with 1 eye than to have 2 eyes and be thrown into hell. Mr. Speaker, if Kenyans cannot get services because of Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua, we'll be pleading, pluck him out from government. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, it is my belief that these 2 quoted verses are also true to the Quran and to other holy books. Turning now to our own jurisprudence. Honorable members, because many of us are political practitioners, even those who are not lawyers, would remember that in nullifying...
Order, Mutuse, you are giving an notice of motion, you are not debating the motion.
Yes, I'm finishing.
Yes.
I'm finishing. In nullifying the 2017 presidential elections, His Lordship, the Chief Justice Emeritus, the Honorable David Maraga, pronounced himself in the following words: "The greatness of any nation lies in its fidelity to the Constitution and adherence to the rule of law, and above all, respect to God." And Mr. Speaker, it is this persuasion, Mr. Speaker, that has made me to bring this motion of impeachment against the person of the Deputy President, His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua. For the record, and Kenyans, listen, I have no grudge, I have no malice, I have no ill will, I have no personal vendetta against His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua. I am just doing my duty as a citizen of the Republic of Kenya and executing my mandate as a member of this House as mandated under the Constitution to bring this motion. I will therefore, Mr. Speaker, with your permission, lay the documents before the House and beg to give notice of the motion. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Hand over the documents to the clerk. Yes, Ruku, what is it? Order, members. Ruku, what is it?
Honorable Speaker.
In relation to the motion?
Yes.
What is it?
Honorable Speaker, I rise to seek your clarification on the special motion for the removal of the Deputy President. Honorable Speaker, as you are aware, 4 seats in the House are vacant following the resignation of the Honorable Obiyo Wadai and Honorable John Badi upon being appointed as Cabinet Secretaries. Further, as you are aware, the seat of Magarini constituency was declared vacant following a successful election petition. The Banisa constituency seat was also declared vacant following the unfortunate demise of our colleague. In this regard, we are now 345 members in this House and not 349 members. Honorable Speaker, in this right, what the threshold shall you use to determine whether the special motion, what is the threshold, Mr. Speaker, shall you use to determine whether the special motion meets the constitutional threshold? Differently put, Mr. Speaker, to pass this motion, shall we require 2/3 of 345 members or 349 members? In my view, vacant seats should not be counted.
Order. You can't ask a question and answer it. You cannot ask the question and answer it.
Honorable Speaker, let me prosecute. I'm trying to prosecute my point of order. In my view, vacant seat should not be counted in determining the voting threshold. Further, I wish to seek your clarification on whether our proceedings are varied in the right of the 4 vacant seats. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. You've made your point. Bashir?
Honorable Speaker, Article 145 and 150 of the Constitution provides for removal of the Deputy President. Our standing order goes to great length on the same to explain the procedure for removal of the Deputy President, as stipulated under Standing Orders 64 and 65. Honorable Speaker, what is clear from reading of Articles 145 and 150 of the Constitution is that the role of this House is just to pass the resolution as to whether the Deputy President shall be impeached or not. It is the exclusive role of the Senate to conduct the trial process. Simply put, we are the initiators and the Senate will be the trial house. Honorable Speaker, consequently, I seek your guidance on whether it is necessary to invite the Deputy President to this House in terms of the right to be heard, noting we have nothing to do with the real process. In my view, the Deputy President shall be required to appear before the Senate, but nevertheless, I seek your indulgence on this matter. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable members, we'll leave it there. Yes, Junet.
Mr. Speaker, I don't intend to anticipate the debate.
I will not allow you to.
Yeah, because this is just a notice of motion. But, Mr. Speaker, there are matters that surround the notice of the motion that needs your guidance and action, Mr. Speaker, because, Mr. Speaker, this is a very momentous issue. Because, as you are aware, when this country gave itself the new constitution, Mr. Speaker, Kenyans were very happy. And this is one of the moments in this House, Mr. Speaker, when we are going to exercise Article 150, which has not happened before. So, Mr. Speaker, this is a very, very important matter for this nation, Mr. Speaker, that is being exercised through this House. But having said, Mr. Speaker, as you're aware, there are members from our side and members from the other side who have signed to this petition, to this motion, Mr. Speaker. And, Mr. Speaker, I wanted to get your assurance as the boss of this House, as the leader of this House, as the Speaker of this House, Mr. Speaker, that the 291 members of Parliament who have signed to this motion, Mr. Speaker, their safety and security will be guaranteed, Mr. Speaker. Because the motion does not end at the tabling, at the notice of motion today. It will go through a process. It will be formally again moved. Members will debate, and members will vote on it. Mr. Speaker, we want those 291 members of Parliament to turn up here the day of voting, Mr. Speaker, without missing any one of them, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we have just passed the new Inspector General of Police the other day here, Mr. Kanja. Not really. He must take responsibility as the Inspector General of Police, Mr. Speaker, to guarantee the safety, as the Inspector General of the country, Mr. Speaker, to guarantee the safety and the security of the 291 members. Mr. Speaker, you know this thing. What we are doing is not a small thing, Mr. Speaker. When Trump was being removed, was being impeached in the United States, Mr. Speaker, you know what he attempted to do. And what can happen here, you know, Mr. Speaker. And let us not fight, let us not begrudge anyone, because what the House is doing is constitutional, because the House is just exercising its mandate. It's not doing anything outside the Constitution. There is nothing unconstitutional that's happening in this House, Mr. Speaker. You can impeach a cabinet secretary, you can impeach a deputy president, you can impeach the president if you wish so. So, Mr. Speaker, this is an exercise that is given to us by the Constitution. So, Mr. Speaker,
You've made your point.
I have made my point, but I conclude by saying this, Mr. Speaker, that, Mr. Speaker, when we were elected, Mr. Speaker, as members of Parliament, we became the staff of the Parliamentary Service Commission. Each member here, Mr. Speaker, their employer, they are employees of the Parliamentary Service Commission, which you are the chairman, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, I have spoken on behalf of the members because when they were signing, that is what they told me, Mr. Speaker, as the minority leader. They told me, we are in support of this thing, we are really ready to move, but we want things done legally and procedurally and within the Constitution, inside Parliament and outside Parliament. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. I don't want to open debate. Yes, Whip, what's your point of order?
Honorable Speaker, I also seek your guidance and indulgence on the notice of motion that has just been tabled here today, because we all agree that post-2010 Constitution, this is unprecedented. In as much as it happened years back, this is very new, post-2010 Constitution, and we will need a bit of some guidance. Ordinarily, Honorable Speaker, any motion that is brought before this House and that is of public interest goes through the entire process, including public participation, Honorable Speaker. I need to seek your guidance and indulgence on the place for public participation as far as this notice of motion is concerned. Because looking at the jurisprudence that has been made by the courts and the lower legislative arm, which is the county assemblies, on the impeachment of the governors and deputy governors, Honorable Speaker, you'll realize and notice that many impeached governors or their deputies challenge their impeachment based on the process of public participation, Honorable Speaker. This is unprecedented, and of course it's my view that to replicate the same, to what happens on the impeachment of governors and deputy governors, and they invoke the element of public participation across the country.
You've made your point.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, Majority Leader. Before you, Majority Leader, Farah has been raising his hand. I'll give you 1 minute, Farah.
Mr. Speaker, I also join the other colleagues in this, but I've just one very important, most important in this country to raise. Not only do we have to protect the lives of 291 members of Parliament who have appended their signature there, we must also protect the system. The IG must protect our president to the hilt. Because you know the kind of a constitution we have. Any reckless thug can decide to change the course of history if, God forbid, anything were to happen to our president. You get my point? And there are people who we have been so worried lately, I get the feeling that they can even have the capacity to plan something like that. Let us make sure this information goes out. Our president must be protected to the hilt until this motion is over. Because if, God forbid, anything were to happen, then we have something much bigger to worry about.
Thank you.
And those guys are...
You're the last on that.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. My Honorable Speaker, if you will indulge me, I'll add something on security. But before that is on Standing Order 85, Honorable Speaker. 85-2, which, Honorable Speaker, would beg, even as you guide members, that members listen, that it shall be out of order to anticipate the debate of a motion of which notice has been given by discussion upon a substantive motion or amendment and all that is said in the standing orders, Honorable Speaker. And I say this, Honorable Speaker, because I know we are in an open and transparent society, and many of us will be invited to media stations to discuss this impeachment motion which notice has been given today. Just to caution members that it will be completely out of order to discuss the substance of the motion in media stations before debate, as is contained in our standing orders. So when we're invited to media stations, maybe we be guarded in what we discuss, so that we do not go into the substance of the motion until we are done with debate. After debate, Honorable Speaker, we are all at liberty to discuss, and that includes, Honorable Speaker, both those who have appended their signatures, like myself, and the other few who have not appended their signatures, Honorable Speaker. The 58 members who have not appended their signatures. Honorable Speaker, just to add on to what the Honorable Farah and Honorable Junet have said, Honorable Speaker, the security of members of Parliament is paramount. Honorable Speaker, I say that looking at you, because you know on the 25th of June this year, Honorable Speaker, none other than yourself, you were a target, and you know that. And not a target for harm, but a target for elimination based on the position you hold as Speaker and the ranking order should anything happen to the President or the Deputy President, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I want to beg that you take with a little more weight the issues raised by Honorable Junet and Honorable Farah Maalim, because, Honorable Speaker, we have seen it on social media. We have been told by certain quarters that before March of 2025, they say bendera itapepea mlingoti nusu. Honorable Speaker, these are weighty issues. And I hear what the Honorable Farah Maalim is saying on the security of the President, and we have no business to advise the Inspector General and the Director of the National Intelligence Service on what to do. But for members of this House, all the 349 of them, Honorable Speaker, you must direct the Inspector General of Police, who was approved by this House less than a month ago, to ensure that when this House is sitting within the precincts of Parliament, and even outside and including committees of this House sitting, Honorable Speaker, members are secured.
Thank you.
And even in their homes, Honorable Speaker, they are secured. Because, Honorable Speaker, I say this, being privy to the information that I was privy to and you are privy to on the 25th of June, and knowing, Honorable Speaker, that as Honorable Junet has said, we are not dealing with an ordinary matter, we are not dealing with an ordinary man, we are dealing with a black man with a very black heart. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Order, honorable members. Order. Order, members on their feet. Order, Deputy Speaker. Take your seat. Take your seats, those who are... Honorable members, those points raised, I'll address them later in the day. I want to direct members of the House Business Committee to retreat to room 9 so that we can have House Business Committee to address, among other things, the process of disposing of this motion in the shortest time possible so that we don't maintain anxiety unnecessarily, and the issues that you have raised about public participation and others. So after the House Business Committee, the Speaker will come back to the House at about 5 and give you direction on what we shall do from here going forward. So I'll now direct the Deputy Speaker to come and take the seat so that members of the House Business Committee, Junet and your team, Ichungo, your team, all troop to room 9 for a meeting immediately. I've closed that chapter, Mshomba. You didn't raise your hand when I was giving people. That chapter is closed. I'm sorry I didn't see you. Yes. Pardon? Two. Take the seat. Deputy Speaker, take the seat.
Next order.
Order number 7, questions and statements.
Honorable members, order. The Honorable Member for Funyula. You have a statement, Honorable Member for Funyula. Honorable
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker.
Order, honorable members. 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 Okay, I think we can proceed. Honorable member for Funyula, let's allow Dr. Pukose to make his statement, then you go next. Honorable Pukose, Chairperson of the Health Committee. Honorable members, please.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Thank you, Madam Speaker. I wish to make a statement on the shift from NHIF to SHIF rollout of the universal health coverage. Honorable Speaker, the Ministry of Health and Social Health Authority is today rolling out the Social Health Authority healthcare services and benefits under the three funds. That is the Primary Healthcare Fund, Social Health Insurance Fund, and the Emergency Chronic and Critical Illness Fund established under the Social Health Insurance Act number 16 of 2023 that was enacted by this House almost a year ago. This act is being operationalized by the government. Access to SHA healthcare services and the benefits being offered by SHA is being rolled out today, 1st October 2024. As the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Health, I rise to give a statement on matters concerning the procurement of the Integrated Health Information Technology System by the Ministry of Health, which has elicited a lot of debate. Honorable Speaker, members of the Departmental Committee on Health have raised concerns regarding the procurement of this system. In response to these concerns, the Ministry of Health was invited to clarify the procurement process and to provide evidence of compliance with the Public Procurement and Asset Disposal Act, CAP 412C. Honorable Speaker, the committee made the following observations from its engagements with the ministry. 1, the Ministry of Health, through the State Department for Medical Services, undertook the procurement of Integrated Health Information Technology System as part of the implementation of universal health care in the country. The ministry submitted that the primary aim of this integrated system is to address the existing challenges in the healthcare sector, including issues of interoperability, data quality, accessibility, and affordability. The Ministry of Health is aligned with the Kenya Health Sector Strategic and Investment Plan, the Kenya Health Data Collaborative, and the Kenya Digital Economy Blueprint, all under the guidance of Section 105 of the Health Act, Cap 241. Honorable Speaker, the system procurement involves a contract valued at Kenya shillings 104,808,136,478, set to be executed over a 12-year period. The Ministry of Health has partnered with MS Safaricom PLC as a strategic partner with the procurement conducted under the specially permitted procurement procedure. The procurement covers the development and implementation of integrated health information technology system, including digital healthcare platforms. The tender is structured in two major cost components. Initial investment by the strategic partners of Kenya shillings 34,003,483,013 over 2 years, and infrastructure support and maintenance of Kenya shillings 70,804,653,465 over 10 years. In adherence to Public Procurement and Asset Disposal Act and the tender regulations, the ministry indicated that the procurement process began on 6 June 2023, when the then Cabinet Secretary for Health requested the use of the specially permitted procurement procedure for the medical equipment supply project, healthcare information technology, that's the transition project, and the supply of community health promoters, CHP kits. The National Treasury approved the request on 13 June 2023, subject to conditions regarding the preparation of tender documents that include specifications, conditions of tendering, and contracting and justification for the use of SPPP, detailing the procedure of onboarding the strategic partners. This process was followed by the ministry's compliance and further approvals. The bid documents were issued on 9th May 2024 and closed on 15th May 2024. After the tender evaluation and negotiation, the ministry submitted a draft contract to the Office of the Attorney General for review and necessary advisory in line with Section 134(2) of the PPADA. This section obligates the accounting officer of a procuring entity to seek clearance from the Attorney General before signing contracts of a value exceeding Kenya shillings 5 billion. As mandated by Section 114A of the Public Procurement and Asset Disposal Act, a specially permitted procurement procedure can be utilized under the following circumstances. 1, a procuring entity may use a procurement procedure specially permitted by the National Treasury. The National Treasury may allow the use of specially permitted procedures, A, where exceptional requirements make it impossible, impractical, or uneconomical to comply with the Act and the regulations. B, where the market conditions or behavior do not allow the effective application of the Act and regulations made under the Act. C, for specialized or particular requirements which are regulated or governed by harmonized international standards or practices. D, where strategic partnership sourcing is applied, and E, where credit finances procurement is applied, or F, in such other circumstances as may be prescribed. Honorable Speaker, the Ministry
members, please be quiet. Honorable members, and I think the chairperson is saying something that's very important about the new social health insurance fund that is very important to our constituents. So let's pay attention.
The Ministry of Health invited Mesa Safaricom PLC to submit a proposal using the provisions of Section 114A, D and E of the Public Procurement and Asset Disposal Act. Mesa Safaricom PLC submitted a technical proposal and a financial proposal as a consortium with Convergence Network Solution Limited and Apiero Limited. with
Honorable
Safaricom
members,
PLC.
Hold on. Honorable members, those who want to have little kamkunjis, if you could kindly go to the lounge so that we can listen to this very important report.
With Safaricom PLC being the lead bidder in the consortium. Safaricom PLC roles in the consortium involves overseeing the entire project, ensuring that all consortium partners adhere to the contract's terms and deliver their respective components as per the agreed scope. Safaricom PLC was approached as a strategic partner owing to its strong capacity to manage and coordinate the project effectively. Safaricom PLC is the largest telecommunications company in Kenya and one of the most advanced in East Africa. Safaricom has a major technological advantages, particularly its extensive 5G network, which currently reaches 77% of the Kenyan population. In addition, Safaricom's network covers over 99% of the country, providing connectivity in remote areas. These factors made Safaricom the most suitable partner for a large-scale project that requires robust and reliable digital infrastructure. Honorable Speaker, Convergence Network Solutions Limited, founded in Canada, is a leading digital transformation IT company with its headquarters in Nairobi. It established operations in Kenya in 2014 when it was incorporated on 2nd April 2014. From its profile, Convergence Network Solutions Limited has a presence across East Africa in 7 countries, including Rwanda, Zambia, and Uganda. Convergence Network Solutions Limited specializes in cyber recovery solutions, identity security management, analytics, and data modeling, IoT, enterprise system integration, integrated physical security, and enterprise collaboration and customer engagement. Apiero Limited, on the other hand, is a private company limited by shares and which has incorporated in Abu Dhabi global market on 11 July 2023, with its business activities being computer programming activities, treasury financial systems and applications development, call centers activities, regulation of the activities of providing healthcare, education, cultural services, and other social services, excluding social security, market research, and public opinion polling, computer consultancy, and computer facilities management activities, data processing, hosting, and related activities. Apiero Limited is owned by Sirius Holding, which has over 25 subsidiaries and presence in over 28 countries. The latter is an international holding company, the largest UAE holding company with over USD 250 billion market capitalization and 479 subsidiaries across 9 industries. Honorable Speaker, I wish to inform this House that the system being procured is not just a social health authority system, but a national integrated information technology system for the entire health sector, a digital superhighway. The system, therefore, this digital superhighway is therefore not solely managing social health insurance, but provides for the various components aimed at delivering a comprehensive and integrated healthcare system for the country. These components encompass the development of a health information management system, a health information exchange platform, core business services such as provision of telemedicine and track and trace for pharmaceutical products, the Social Health Authority Insurance Management Platform, an enterprise resource planning system, national logistics and supply chain management software, a learning platform, a data lake, and analytics system, as well as the necessary digital health infrastructure to support these systems. The Ministry of Health averred to the committee that it secured the necessary approvals from the Cabinet Secretary for the National Treasury and the Attorney General for the use of the specially permitted procurement procedure, with main justification for the procurement of the system being the obligation set out in Section 105 of the Health Act, Cap 241 of 2017. This section provides for the establishment and maintenance of a comprehensive and Integrated Health Information System by the Ministry of Health. The Ministry of Health also clarified that due diligence on the contract had been conducted by Kaplan and Stratton, advocates, and not Danton, Hamilton, Harrison, and Matthews, as widely reported on social media. Honorable Speaker, the committee had also expressed concerns about electricity and network connectivity challenges in certain hospitals, especially in remote areas. The Ministry of Health and the Social Health Authority acknowledged the issue, noting that 4,065 health hospitals face difficulties with power and internet access. To mitigate these challenges, hospitals will receive devices with power banks for backup power. Additionally, the digital system will function in offline mode, ensuring hospitals can operate without internet access. The ministry is also collaborating with the Ministry of Energy to secure infrastructure upgrades, including reliable electricity, to facilitate the full implementation of the digital health system. The Ministry of Health further assured the committee that there are at least 3 connectivity lines available to support the system in case of system down or failure. Madam Speaker, the Ministry of Health and the Social Health Authority, in the meeting held with the committee yesterday, Monday, 30th September 2024, highlighted its preparedness on the rollout of the access to social health benefits. The Ministry of Health submitted that as of 28th September 2024, the SHA system had registered approximately 2 million new members, while 9 million members from the NHIF system were to be transitioned to the SHA platform. Honorable Speaker, in conclusion, the Integrated Health Information Technology System, if implemented by the Ministry of Health in the manner that the latter explained to the committee, would contribute significantly to the digitization and modernization of Kenya's healthcare system, ensuring accessible, affordable, and high-quality care for all Kenyans, as envisioned in the Kenya Health Policy 2014 to 2030 and the Kenya Universal Health Coverage Policy 2020 to 2030. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I submit.
Thank you. Next now. You have a point of order? Okay.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. We just want to interrogate the statement. I have a few concerns, Honorable Speaker. One, I think as a National Assembly, we should sit back and understand what is going on. I'm seated with some members of that committee, Madam Speaker, and they are expressing dissatisfaction on what's going on. Madam Speaker, few fundamental issues about such a thing. I don't understand how such a program can go on without public participation. This is a house of rules. We enact laws. We are supposed to follow the laws. Two, Madam Speaker, the greatest systems, most sophisticated, KRA, name them. I have never heard of a system that cost 1 or 4 billion. A system, Madam Speaker. I'm told the system, the platform that NHIF ran on, they only needed 700 million to upgrade. But a whooping 104 billion. Madam Speaker, you must also understand that these people did single sourcing. The government went for single sourcing for such an amount of money. We cannot allow this to go on in this country. We are saying, take a step back, go and listen to what Kenyans are saying. We cannot take all the important infrastructure of this government in one foreigner called Adani. We cannot. We cannot give him the airport. We cannot give him Ketraco. We cannot give him our health system. It's going to collapse. Lastly, Madam Speaker, I have read and interrogated this statement very well. The benefits that NHIF was giving was superior than the benefits this system is going to give, Madam Speaker. I want to beseech this National Assembly that when the country is headed in a wrong direction, we must say no. Let's step back and listen. This thing is a bad thing. It is causing damage to our country. We will not have a country at the end of the day. Mr. Chairman, sit back, go and follow processes. You cannot award a contract of 1 or 4 billion by single sourcing. You cannot. The eating is just too much. We should not allow this eating and looting in this country. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Yes, Honorable Justice Kemei.
Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Make it brief so that the chairperson will be able to respond.
I'll be very brief, Madam Speaker. And mine is not related to the statement that has been given by the chairman of the Health Committee. But Madam Speaker, I thought
I'm only letting you, I'm entertaining any comments on what the chairperson has said. What do you want to talk about?
Sorry, Chair. I had sought a statement from the chairman of the Health Committee on the 15th of August this year on the state of smallpox in this country, mpox, sorry.
Okay, I think there's no relevance to what we are discussing now, so you'll have to ask that at another time. Okay. Yes, Honorable Member for Funyula, then I'll come to you, Beatrice Elachi.
Honorable Speaker, I'll make it very brief. Honorable Speaker, I'm shocked beyond belief. I'm shocked that a member of parliament can come and stand here and justify the massive rip-off. 104 billion, Honorable Speaker, just to run a system. Honorable Speaker, to be honest, Chairman, we beseech you. You are a Kenyan. Be mindful of the people of Kenya. 104 billion going to the hands of insiders of this government is a rip-off. We cannot afford to steal from Kenya to this extent, Honorable Speaker. How heartless can you be? Just go back, Honorable Chair. Single sourcing, 104 billion. Where on earth? Just go, reflect, think about it, involve your committee members, and surely tell yourself, this, you are a Catholic like me. You are a Christian. You cannot afford to steal when you have no remorse. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Elachi.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Mine is just to ask Chair to guide us, because we have many people with chronic diseases who have been using NHIF. We have now changed from today into shift. And they need to understand that if I go, because when you say 147, everybody was trying and nobody was able even to enter into this system. For me, what is a bit sad is that you can imagine somebody who was going for dialysis does not know what to do when they arrive in hospital. How I wish the Ministry of Health can put in a public notice saying, if I have an NHIF and I've been going through chronic diseases, dialysis or whatever, I arrive in hospital with my NHIF, you put me in the system, you give me this shift card or whatever it is, it will help us. But lastly, if we want to be really people who look in humanity in eyes, I am hoping that that system never costed us 104 billion when the president is struggling with a Eurobond, which again we did the worst mistake at that time. That Eurobond costed us 16% on a dollar, when that time Egypt was getting the same Eurobond with 3%. Let us not go back to those things that happened 2013, 2014, and we are back here. It will be as wrong, as evil as it has never happened. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Yes, Honorable Kibagendi, and then I'll come to you, Honorable Nyikana.
Madam Speaker, I sit in the Health Committee, and I have raised concerns about a bulk of what fellow members have raised here this afternoon. One of my concerns, of course, was about the cost of this particular system, given that some of the most sophisticated systems that we have in this country are KRA, Safaricom, M-Pesa, and a few others that cost less than 10 billion Kenya shillings. I'm wondering why we should genuinely spend 104 billion shillings on a system that those who created the NHIF system were willing to upgrade for less than 1 billion shillings. 104 billion shillings is adequate to take care of primary school children. For 10 years, it's 9 billion per year. They would have lunch in school. Secondly, Madam Speaker, why this system should offer an inferior benefit, yet members now pay more. Imagine, Madam Speaker, they are saying in a family, you can only benefit, only one individual can benefit to go for diabetes tests per year, one person, and it's only 4,000 shillings. Only one person can benefit on matters to do with dental, and it's about 2,000 shillings. Only one member in a family can benefit with optical medical care. It is absurd given what we had in NHIF. If indeed NHIF had issues, our focus should have been to review the claims management department. And today, Madam Speaker, I would like to bring to your attention that even in this social health authority, there is a scheme to outsource the core mandate of this particular authority, which is the claims management department. And that will be a loss of funds that would have been used to support poor Kenyans. Madam Speaker, this is something that I've been to request that through our committee, we step back and look at I've forgotten to mention, in our committee, we requested the ministry to produce even one photo of a public participation event. They could not produce even one. There was no public participation anywhere in this country. So, Madam Speaker, I would request as a member of that particular committee, and there is a lot that we can talk about. We step back and review this and even the cost. I forgot to mention also that the companies that benefited from this particular contract have never developed any kind of this system anywhere in the world. One of them was just registered the other day in July. So you can imagine the haste in which those who intend to benefit from this had. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
I think we just have one more voice, and then we can end this, and I'll allow the... Okay. All right, I'll go to Honorable Deputy Leader of Majority. And then I'll... Oh, yes, sorry. Sorry, I'm sorry, Honorable Oren, yes. Honorable Nyikal was next, then I'll come to you.
Thank you, Chair. I'm a member of the Health Committee, and I'll stand here and say the statement our Chair has read does not reflect the position of the members of that committee. Statement number one, and I say it with courage. Two, let me finish.
What's your point of order?
Madam Speaker, indeed, if members of the Health Committee are saying that what the statement the chairman has read to this House is not a representative of the views of members of the Health Committee, then why are we discussing it in the first place?
Okay.
Yeah, why are we discussing it, Madam?
Okay.
Is that in order?
So let me allow Honorable Nyikal, and
What?
then you will have a chance to respond to this, Honorable Bukose.
Speaker, to begin with, We were not even aware that this statement was going to be made here. And when there are three issues here, one is the issue, the integrated health information system, the purchase of which is costing 104 billion. That's one issue. Issue number two is the transition process that Honorable Elachi was talking about. Issue number three is the issue of the outsourcing of claims. Let me talk about the issue of the integrated system. The information we got from the ministry as far as the procurement process was concerned, they followed the law as they interpreted it, but we were not satisfied. And these are the issues we raised, and we said we should get more information on. One, we could not ascertain whether the cabinet was actually aware of this. The procurement starts with the ministry, and you do not see any information behind that is linking with the cabinet. And at one time, the PS was saying the cabinet can be informed, given for information when you are purchasing at 104 billion. We didn't agree with that. Two, we were not satisfied that enough effort was made to get other institutions or other partners that would provide this at a lesser cost, even compete. It was not clear to us how Safaricom got the request for proposal and is the only one that got the request proposal. Why not others? And we said we will need that information later. Madam Speaker, it was not clear to us whether due diligence was done on the partners in the consortium where Safaricom was the lead, particularly Apiero, because there had been a lot of information about Apiero. That we did not get, and we actually at the end of the meeting said we are either going to get that or we'll do it ourselves. The ministry did not give us enough information on that due diligence. Madam Speaker, it was not clear to us how this money is going to be paid. When we asked the PS said it is the users. And Madam Speaker, this system is huge. It will even involve the private health institutions. It will even involve the regulatory authorities all the regulatory authorities and the health sector. It will even involve the health facilities in the counties. And it was not clear how these users will actually pay for it. And we were informed that they are going to do a cash flow, a simulation of how this will be paid. And we had not reached that level as yet. With that, Madam Speaker, we were not satisfied, and we are surprised that our chair is reading this in this House. When it comes to transition, we were sure that the people were not given enough information, because what Honorable Elachi was asking was, if you have NHIF and we are transiting to SHA, will you get treatment? We were told, yes, when you go there, you will get treatment. But that information is not with the people. So we said, what is it that is being launched? You can launch the beginning of a process, but you cannot say you have shifted and people therefore will not get that service. So we were not satisfied. On outsourcing, on claims, that was one of the biggest issues we raised during the discussion on this law here. We asked, and they said, for the time being, SHA will do it itself. And we are not sure whether that is so, because the law provided that May. We were concerned about the May. Those who are here may remember. So, Madam Speaker, this, in the view of the committee, we have not reached a conclusion about this. So with that, Madam Speaker, I say it does not represent the view of members of the committee.
Okay, let me give Honorable Makali the point of order. I will come to you so that you can respond. Just note them down.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, Honorable Nyikal is a ranking member in this House and a serious expert in matters health. He has made statements here, which I think, because this House of Records, he says the chair of this committee have submitted a report in this House which does not reflect the views of the committee members. Would I be in order, Honorable Chair, to demand that the chair of the committee tables in this House the minutes of the committee and a list of members who have signed for the adoption of that report? That's the only way we can clear the air.
What's your point of order, Honorable KJ? I'll come to you. Let KJ make his...
Madam Speaker, as much as this is a House of Records, it's also a House of Procedure. It is also a House of Traditions. To my mind, what has been laid on the floor of the House today is not the property of any committee. Neither is it the property of the chair. In fact, if I was keen enough to listen to what the chair said when they were moving this, the chairperson, Dr. Pukose, said that he's presenting as a ministry statement. And the ministry is at liberty to transmit statements to this House at any moment. And even responses that come from requests for statements actually are directed to chairpersons. They rarely go through any processing by committees and in fact find their way to the floor of the House. So, Madam Speaker, I find this House not utilizing the little time that it has fairly in prosecuting a matter that is in itself not substantially before this House, because what was put here, Madam Speaker, you would have been right in your place to just listen to Dr. Pukose and proceed to other business. All he did is equivalent to a communication. It is equivalent to even a notice. It is equivalent to an announcement. To open it up to a debate is to take the statement to be a substantive motion before this House, which it is not. And we might open up a debate so that we maybe poster for cameras, or maybe so that we go on record, or maybe because we want to play to the gallery. But the truth of the matter is that there is no substantive motion before this House open for debate or even open for comment. It was just a statement that was laid on a momentous day when the ministry was transitioning from one order to the next order, and they, at their liberty, decided to communicate to this House. So, Madam Speaker, I do not see a place for debate or comments on a matter that is not a motion. And I say this because we are guided by standing orders. We might not be able to debate something that is not substantially before this House. Thank you very much, Madam Speaker.
Honorable KJ, the tradition of the House has been that when members make statements or ask questions, usually if there is an interest by members to, comment on it, usually we'd allow them. So it's, but also, okay, Honorable Pukose, you're out of order. Don't speak from there. You will get a chance to respond, like I've said. Yeah, Honorable Owen, I've already corrected him, so it's done.
I would like to say this, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, what I understood when the Honorable Pukose stood, he said he's issuing a statement. And Honorable Nyikal is a ranking member who have a lot of respect. But it is also important to listen at the beginning. Was the Honorable Pukose laying a document from the committee, or was he laying a statement from the ministry? So if you actually come here and say you disown that the committee did not participate or agree on that statement, you are actually right, but on the wrong lane. He was not laying a position paper of the committee. He was laying a statement from the ministry. And the ministry has a right, as chairman of the committee, he transmits business from the ministry to the House, which is properly in order. And therefore, I would request you, Honorable Nyikal, being a dignified member of this House, ranking with a lot of respect, it is important that you withdraw that statement
on the basis that you are commenting on something that has not been presented to the House. This House has not received a committee report. This House has received a statement from the minister. And that is the position. So for you as a ranking honorable member of there and my neighbor, it is good. It is actually good practice to say, I did not understand it, I spoke on something that was not proper, and therefore withdraw. Secondly, Honorable Speaker, I'd like to speak to my friend Wamboka, Jack. He has a good voice, he's very articulate, and he says a lot of things that people celebrate. But also, it is very important, Jack, that when you come to contradict a statement from the ministry, the tradition of the House is for you to substantiate your statements. Bring documentation, substantiate, say something contrary with proof, with facts, with documentation. Even what Kibagendi did is just to hype something that does not exist. Because if they talk about Adani has done this, Adani has done this, yes, good practice that we have inherited from our forefathers in this House is that you come and substantiate and say, I have documentation here that shows contrary. I want to substantiate to say this. So, you know, the statements that are being said here, Honorable Speaker, and it's very important that we protect programs that government have initiated that are going to take care of millions of Kenyans, like this program that is being rolled out. If we go out there, say things without proof, without substantiating on those items, they kill a good government program just because somebody has an opportunity to come to Parliament and speak about them and is heard all over without substantiating. Honorable Speaker, we must take debate in this House to another threshold. The things that you come here and because you have a loud voice, you can say whatever you want to say and it carries the day. Honorable Speaker, if I were you sitting on that seat, I would have told them to withdraw those statements because they are not good for this country, they are not substantiated, and they are not statements of fact. They are not statements of facts, and Honorable Speaker, what they did was wrong. I applaud Honorable Pokose because he stands for what is true. I thank you, Honorable.
Yeah. Let me allow Honorable Pokose to respond. What's your point of order, Modi Karoli?
Madam Speaker, understanding order number 1, I think Honorable Owen Baya is completely out of order to try and undermine the authority of this House and the discretionary power that the Speaker has to allow any kind of debate to be admitted on the floor of this House, especially on a matter that is as important as this. And I hope you are not going to close it after the response of the chairman, because we have views. We don't sit in the committee. We have our views to present on the floor of the House. And we didn't ask them to come and make the statement. They made it. They've walked into our territory. We must have the opportunity now to speak. And I hope it will not be closed at that. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
I think honorable members, let's allow Honorable Pokose to confirm so that he can clarify whether it's a ministry report or a committee report. And I think the members from the committee, I think if Honorable Pokose has admitted that it's a ministry report, then yes, it is true that it was not, that didn't come through your committee. But let's allow him to respond so he can clarify those issues. And yes, this particular topic is very important to Kenyans.
Madam Speaker, this is a statement. We are in order number 7, which is statement. And Honorable Speaker, you allowed me to make a statement on behalf of the ministry on the rollout from NHIF to SHIF. That is on the rollout of the universal health coverage, which is happening today. That was the basis in which I was given this position to make that statement. Unfortunately, my colleagues are assuming this is a committee report. No, it is not a committee report. This is a statement. I think that should be very distinguished. Secondly, Madam Speaker, the points which have been raised by my colleagues, Honorable Nyekal and the other members, are not in relevance to my statement. None of them has disputed any of what I've raised in this statement. They have actually gone ahead to make their own points based on what they know. And I think that is very wrong. It is based on hearsay. And Madam Speaker, when I brought this statement, the aim of this statement is to reassure Kenyans that today we are rolling out, we are moving from NHIF to SHIF. And when we are moving from NHIF to SHIF, people are worried outside there. Are we going to access our health services? That is the point. And in this report, I said 9 million of the people who are in NHIF are going to be moved to SHIF today or moving forward. It is not a one-off event. This is a transition. Today is the start, and it is moving. They have already registered about 2 million people into the SHIF system. Among the SHIF, people are talking of system. What is here is a digital superhighway. SHIF is just a small, the ERP for SHIF is just a small component of it. The rest is a huge component. And members, my committee members, Honorable Kibagendi, Honorable Nyekal, they are aware. And this is not, unfortunately, I listened to you. I didn't dispute what you are saying, but you are talking from an ignorant point. Because what is happening is you have...
Give him a chance to complete explaining.
Unfortunately, and this is where we get problems, because you want to go and explain to your people, and you don't have facts. In this digital superhighway, it is connected to the national registration pariah and many other systems within it. It's a huge thing. It has two components. When we now go into the digital superhighway, it has two components. And this is not a SHA system. This is a digital health authority system. It's a Ministry of Health system. So what happens is you have Safaricom being a lead agency with others who have come in to invest in two components. They are investing in infrastructure and maintenance and service for 12 years. Okay? And the procurement method, as I read it here, which they used, is the specially permitted procurement procedure. That is as per the ministry. Yeah? And they presented their documents, which I said, I didn't read that part, but they went to the Attorney General has commented, the National Treasury has commented about it, and they've given them a go-ahead. We are not stopping anything that is happening there. The committee is still in the process of looking at looking at certain areas, which we agree. That is the committee position. But this is the ministry has its position. And as a chair, I'm communicating the ministry's position.
I think, Honorable, because you've clarified the issue, you've said that's a ministry position, and I think you've confirmed yourselves, Honorable Nikal, that as the committee, you're still interrogating this matter. So this will not prohibit the committee from continuing.
If a statement is being made, give me. One, if the ministry wishes to make a statement to the public, it is not through this house. If the ministry is making a statement, it does not make reference to the discussions that has become before the committee. Once the ministry brings out the issues that they brought and discussed before the committee, it therefore becomes our discussion as well. So all the things were said, we met with the committee, we did this to the committee. You are therefore bringing the committee into what the ministry is saying. And we have not completed, giving the impression that what the committee is saying, what the minister is saying, the committee has agreed to it. So on that, there is nothing to withdraw and to apologize about.
Okay, Honorable Nyikal, I think it's understanding order 44B, you know, the leader of majority or minority or chairperson of a committee or their designee may make a statement relating to their responsibilities in the House or activities of the committee. So yes, they're responsible to oversight the Ministry of Health. So yes, he's in order to come and make that statement as a statement coming from to the people. Yes. He hasn't referred to the. He didn't refer to. He has not referred to the committee, and I think he's made it clear. It's a ministry statement. The committee will be at liberty. You'll be at liberty to continue to interrogate this issue. Yeah, it doesn't affect your operations because you can still come and question the ministry. The ministry can appear before the committee and still question them on that issue. I think, Honorable Owen, let's just close this and move to the next statement. No, I think the comments were more based when people thought it was. Okay, I'll just allow you, Honorable Karoli, but.
Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Very briefly, though.
Yes, normally I'm very brief. Madam Speaker, ever since this particular matter came into public limelight, I think both the country and the House are addressing the wrong issue. Let me explain why. What is being touted as being supplied by a consortium led by Safaricom is nothing other than an information management system. It is a digital, as they call it, a digital superhighway. It is an information management system. What Safaricom has become an expert on doing is fronting contracts that are opaque, that are not transparent, as was evidenced by the one for surveillance of the city, and avoiding the tendering process. If you look at the amounts of money that are allocated to this particular process, 104 billion is equivalent to $700 million, which would capitalize a big insurance company to offer healthcare services to Kenyans. That is not the case here. We are being told that an information management system that is being acquired without competition, without transparency, will cost 104 billion, which was the amount for the first Eurobond Kenya ever borrowed. I mean, what we should be asking is the financial details of this transaction. What is the interest rate? What is the repayment period? This House should see the financial elements of this contract. This is a financing arrangement where a service provider walks to a user and says, okay, you don't have the money to do this, I will do this at this cost, without testing.
I think, Honorable...
Yes, that is what we should be talking about. This is a financial instrument.
Karoli Omondi, I think we've already settled it, that this matter is before the committee. It's before the committee, isn't it? Okay, what's your point of order, Honorable Chair?
Madam Speaker, I'm on a point of order. Honorable Karoli Omondi has claimed that this is a health information management system. But from my reading, the system there is not solely managing social health insurance, but provides for various components aimed at delivering a comprehensive and integrated health system for the country. These components encompass the development of a health information management system, that is one, a health information exchange platform, that is two, core business services such as provision of telemedicine, track and trace for pharmaceutical products. Yeah? You are not listening. The health information system is just one. There is track and trace for pharmaceutical products. There is core business services such as provision of telemedicine. There is development of a health exchange platform. It is many things. No, that is different things.
Okay,
you know, the problem is you are not listening.
Okay, Honorable Pukose. Okay, Honorable Pukose, I think now we are flogging a dead horse. already the committee is at liberty to interrogate this issue. The committee is at liberty to summon the Minister of Health. Honorable Pukose, don't defend the ministry position. There's no, and I'm saying you've read it. Let the committee will work on it. And obviously, it's obvious that members have questions. You'll deal with it at the committee level. We are not going to be able to deal with it here on the floor of the House. So let us end this debate, Honorable Owen. Yes, Honorable Owen.
I want to say this. You know, Honorable Karoyo Omondi is a bright lawyer, and he understands what he's saying. And I also want to know more about these things that he's talking about. I also want to know more, Honorable Karoyo. But you see, you're using the wrong path. Why don't we summon PPRA, the Public Procurement Regulatory Authority, to come and explain how they allowed that to happen? I also want to know how 104 billion would be used on this. But then, do you want to ask that to Honorable Pukose? There are people in this country that have been given a job to do that. I also want that Minister for Finance should come here and PPRA to come and explain to us how almost the value of a Eurobond would be used on one system. I want to know that. But then, do not attack Honorable Pukose on...
Your point, Honorable Owen. You've made your point. Okay, let us proceed to the next order of business. I think we have another statement from the Honorable Member for Funyula, Honorable Ounda.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. This is a request for statement. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the provision of Standing Order 44.2c, I rise to request a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Administration and Internal Security regarding the welfare of prison officers. Honorable Speaker, various reports, including the Masden Madoka Committee report of 2008.
The Honorable Member has just crossed the floor. Please go back. Proceed, Honorable Ounda.
Honorable Speaker, various reports, including the Masden Madoka Committee report of 2008, the Maraga Task Force report of 2023, and other Ministry of Interior and National Administration reviews, have repeatedly identified and documented the challenges facing the Kenya prison services. Despite these comprehensive evaluations and recommendations made, the situation remains largely unchanged. The state of affairs was affirmed in the Maraga Task Force report, which stated the situation remains the same as what the Madoka Committee established about 15 years ago. In essence, the conditions within the Kenya prison services remain precarious and pose a potential threat to national security if the service ultimately becomes dysfunctional. Honorable Speaker, it's against this backdrop that I request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Administration and Internal Security on the following. Number one, the status of implementation of the recommendations of the Maraga Task Force report, specifically in relation to the promotion of prison officers, some who have stagnated at the same job grade for over 10 years, and the constitution of the Prisons Council as provided for under Section 21C of the Prisons Act. Number two, any plans to provide, Honorable Speaker, decent housing for prison officers under the Affordable Housing Program, and if you saw, the status of these arrangements. And finally, number three, the status of harmonizations of the terms of service, including salaries, for all officers and the various services, specifically between the National Police Service and the Kenya Prison Service, to ensure parity and fairness, remuneration and working conditions. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Okay, I think that statement will be dealt with by the Committee on Administration and Internal Security. Okay, next statement. Is there anybody from that committee, Administration and Internal Security?
In the mic. Thank you very much, Madam Madam Speaker. But that statement is to actually the State Department of Correctional Services, which falls under Justice and Legal Affairs. So I believe that will be the right committee which will handle the statement. and that can be done within 14 days if it is forwarded immediately to the State Department of Correctional Services.
Thank you for that correction. Now I remember actually that was moved to Justice and Legal Affairs. Okay. The next statement is by Honorable Member for Langata.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the provision of the Standing Order 44-2C, I rise to request a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Defense, Intelligence and Foreign Relations regarding the current management and public access to Uhuru Gardens. Honorable Speaker, Uhuru Gardens is one of Kenya's most significant